So a former pastor with the Dunamis International Gospel Centre has been speaking about his time at the church. In this podcast interview,
my ex-wife said,
he made several allegations against the senior pastor of the church, Pastor Paul Enenche,
that after the prayer, it was like this January kind of prayer. So we met,
including
to come back.
Dr. Paul Enenche's relationship with Abel Damina, staged miracles at the church, Pastor Enenche's dislike for former President Muhammadu Buhari, his manipulative tendencies, how the church used his ex-wife against him, and how Pastor Enenche is now after his life. Watch.
We've heard about so many miracles, testimonies of this, the blind received the sight, the crippled walked, this one. At some point, in fact, I think what caused the latest fight between Enenche and Damina was when Damina made a post to raising clutches, new clutches, with a picture of Enenche, and it became a problem. So you've been there. And I know you as a very bold, vocal person who must have gone through some troubles because of the revelations you've been, given since you left the church. Tell us, these miracles, are they true? Have you witnessed any of them? Like, can you confidently, categorically state with every single iota of conviction in you that some of these miracles, or all of them, are real?
It's a very strong question, but I'll answer you. I will tell you, Captain, no. And it's with due respect to him and to Dunamis Church. I have nothing to lose or gain.
You're saying no, that the miracles are not real?
Are not real. They don't happen. Let me give you an instance. One major reason why I left is the frustration I had. After healing and deliverance service, we have more people that need healing than people that came for healing. I don't know whether you got me. After the healing service, you see people still want to see daddy for prayer.
I need to drink water.
Please drink water. People frustrated. You could see frustration. And as a pastor, because when daddy has gone, the wahala now is left for us because they have to meet us. Oh, pastor, please, I need to see daddy. I brought this person. I brought that person. And people, I'm like, whoa, where do I start from? Like, you could see pain.
So what you're saying is that the real people, the real sick people that were brought for healing do not receive healing, but then strangers receive healing. Is that what you're saying?
Now, you see, let me tell you something. When you're on the stage, it's different from reality. When you are in a crowded atmosphere, charged with, disco light and bam, 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 or the music is slow, your emotion is being tapped into. It's different ball game when the lights are off and you have to face reality. Now, most time when people, there's what I call environmental influence. For instance, if you are where Burna Boy or Davido or Michael Jackson is doing event and maybe you had malaria or maybe headache, you could be carried away with the dance. You won't even remember you had headache. Or it is after the whole thing when everybody make with the go house now. Like, what? This thing, they disturb me.
He's back.
That is when reality comes. Or maybe you are in a stadium and they say, a tiger is here. If you're not careful, a cripple will jump a fence. A cripple will jump a fence.
That is true.
A tiger is here, or a lion is here. People will do the unthinkable. Now, that is what I call the environmental effect. So when pastors or maybe Dr. Paul and is doing all of that, you see that emotion. So pastor, it is after the lights are off. Now the same person now is okay. Walk now. Say that's my stick I brought. Can I have it back? I have seen now as a pastor. And with due respect to him, because I don't know. There's a case I have. I don't know whether it's even him that is suing me. So, but I will say it. Maybe by Tuesday, maybe you guys will not see me again. But no problem. Let me. No. That's.
We'll be here to speak for you.
I have been there for this, like the 5th time. DSS, FCID. I've been to prison. And this guy has not left me alone. I don't know why. But this one now, and I'm out for him. It's either he leave me alone or I leave him alone. Somebody has to leave the other person. So what am I trying to say? So when you see stuff like that, at the end of the service, I remember one particular one. He or she came with an inhaler, and he said, "Oh, the asthma is gone. The asthma is gone." And after the service, is choking, and take. And if you watch, sometimes it's okay. Take it as your souvenir. Take it so that you show people, because you know that this thing is not real. I remember my son. My son had. They claim my son had a medical issue, and that's why the major victims are women. Major victims.
Because women are emotional,
very emotional, and especially when you have this kind of woman that is very clear, things that I can talk. And the women, they love daddy kind of thing, daddy. So sometimes also people want. The way they have placed daddy, people want daddy to pray for them. So they can claim what has not happened just because they think that if I claim it and daddy will say, bring that testimony out. So they will think that daddy will use the opportunity to pray for them.
Okay, so they have not received the testimony.
They have not received the testimony.
But they are trying to claim it by testifying.
You got that gist. So someone can say, I came here. All they want is so that daddy, because to them, daddy have some power. And if I remain, because daddy wouldn't want you to come testify when you are not healed. So you have to claim you are healed so that daddy can lay his hand and use you, and camera will capture you for the whole world to see, and you are trending. You are trending. I remember there was a video that was posted by a man that claimed to be a soldier. I think we criticized that video and they pulled it down. And I'm still challenging them if they can still bring forth that video. The man claimed that they shot him and he didn't enter. And later it was find out that it was cigar light he used to. even Dr. Paul Enenche himself felt scammed. No, I'm not joking. He felt scammed. Like I remember they were giving the guy accommodation. They were, let me tell you. Can I shock you now? There was this guy.
Cigar light.
You don't go understand. People, they hustle.
Were you being paid salary?
Yes. We pay salary. We pay salary. Monthly salary. Yeah, we pay monthly salary. But you know how that works? The monthly salary, if you're not careful, at the end of the month, you have more months than more money. At the end of the month, you have more months than more money.
How much were you being paid then?
I think if I'm not, it's classified by averagely. There was a time we have to literally protest for a review, but I think at one point it was around 70,000. Monthly.
As a family man.
What are you telling me? As a family man, and others people still paying less.
And out of this 70,
the work of God.
Out of this 70,000, you still need to pay tithe.
You pay tithe.
Still need to give offering.
At one point, I think there was a threat to even take it from source.
Do you think that because of this low income of the junior pastors, the low salary, do you think that they oftentimes try to make money by either stealing from the offering, tithe, or going behind his back, to extort money from other members?
Absolutely. I knew pastors, I knew folks that had to. I remember one time one of my friends called me and he said, "Oh, there's a new formula." I'm like, what formula? He's my colleague, pastor.
Yeah.
I said, do you know that this other pastor, he pays his tithe directly to Dr. Paul? I said, oh, directly? We as pastors, you pay your tithe, drop it in the offering, indicate tithe, and he's separated. He said, no, this pastor takes his tithe and he wrote scriptures that validate it. Pay your tithe to the priest. So he pays his tithe to Dr. Paul directly. So number one, Dr. Paul prays for him directly. What he does now is compel all his staff to pay tithe to him. Yeah, because if I'm paying to the priest, I'm the priest.
This is strategy.
Yeah, all his staff, you have to pay tithe to me because I pay to him. From what you pay to me, I pay to him. So when he told me that,
strategy.
say, oh, that's a new one now. So
this person you're talking about is a pastor.
he's a pastor.
So he pays his tithes
Directly to Dr. Paul.
to Dr. Paul, and then he tells those who
All
are
his staff,
under him
yeah, to pay to him.
to pay to him.
Because he pays to Dr. Paul.
And these are pastors under Enenche
Yes.
in Dunamis.
In Dunamis. Because
I want you to tell me, since you've been a pastor under Enenche,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you must have met Abel Damina.
yes, I have.
Tell us, what exactly do you think is the problem between Enenche and Damina?
Let me drink water.
Tell us. We want to know.
You know, I tell people, at least I know both characters, but I'm deeper more with Paul Enenche because I have served him.
Yeah.
Now, to be honest with you, whatever Abel said in terms of
It is too hot. I need to be drinking
It's too
water.
hot. To be honest with you, I've met Dr. Abel. I heard his side of the story. I met him at Ibaino Hotel, Gudu, and he was sharing with me. Of course, his impact, even then, Dr. Paul Enenche have not disclaimed, but he was telling me, oh, this is what, and as a pastor, you know, when you are there, you know how your deal started, even though he may not say it openly.
Yeah.
And of course, it was very clear that Abel played a major role for the kickoff of the church. The problem is that your past, you can never rewrite your past. I remember we have hosted Abel before. And Abel have preached for him. And so for me, for him to say that, I was disappointed.
Were you forcefully removed? Were you banished by Paul Enenche, or you left willingly on your own?
Okay. Let me just give you a sharp chronicle and how it climaxed. At one time, a pastor in Makurdi region lost his wife, and all the Dunamis pastors were in a WhatsApp group. So we did not know. And one early morning, my ex-wife woke me up and said, did you hear about this news? This woman is late, the wife of this pastor. And I was shocked because as a pastor, I should know.
Yeah.
And I quickly went to the WhatsApp group. I said, sorry, please, to bring to your notice, I learned this pastor's wife died. What happened? We didn't know. And everybody ignored. You know, when you drop such a sensitive post, you expect people to respond, especially when it is everywhere. And nobody responded. And when I woke up later around 7, I was so angry. I said, I know you guys will not respond because you have no value for life. But I'm so disappointed at you guys. That's the kind of person I am. Sorry, that's the kind of person I am. I'm saying I'm so disappointed at you guys, and we demand an apology. So that was when all of them woke up. So who do you think you are? When did you come? The likes of Fidelis Alika. Where do you think you are? Timothy that has left too. And I said, I don't care. This pastor is a pastor that his wife
Did
died.
you say that this was a WhatsApp group for pastors or for market women?
I'm not joking. They insult until they removed me from the WhatsApp group. You don't like to see me when I want to get what I want. And especially when it is right, Abraham doesn't pack off. I may just be the only person. I'm not a crowd person. So I insisted. I said, Pastor Loche was the regional pastor there. Then I said, sir, you must apologize to us. It didn't work. So what happened? Dr. Paul left a message that I should resume at the headquarters immediately because of that. So I told my wife and I resumed at the headquarters. Now, when I resumed at the headquarters, I was trying to know what happened. He refused to see me. So
that relationship has been messed up by your fellow pastors.
I'm not, it's like crab. Everyone want to pull you down to God. That's what they do. They'll pull you down. So if your head, match up. So when that happened, I tried to see him no. So when I saw that, I noticed I was struggling because I'll come to church. I couldn't fit in anymore. Dr. Paul was having issue. They see me like a betrayed rebel. This guy is selling me out because his phones, the wife, Deborah, all of them. When I mean all the children, Paul Daniel, all. I go to the house. I have entered Paul Daniel's room. Like I'm some betrayer. But to be honest, I've never betrayed him one day. I could access anything. I could have his laptop. Sometimes they sleep in my house. I never one day because it's not important to me. So when I saw all of that, I noticed I don't fit in anymore. The passion for Jesus was stronger than the church thing. So I needed to exit. While I was in Dunamis Church, I was listening to, if you know Joseph Prince, Joseph Prince that talks on grace. If you know Mike Smuro, I was so I was so addicted to Mike Smuro and Sunday Adelaja. Do you know I produce for Dr. Paul and the wife? So anytime I want to give them my laptop, I will hide
some of those things.
Because the wife asked me, "Are you sure you don't listen to Joseph Prince?"
Sunday Adelaja was the first biggest enemy of the Pentecostal pastors.
They thought Sunday Adelaja was sponsoring me. Yeah, they thought that. Are you sure? I said no. Let me tell you something. Some years ago, as a pastor, there's this Pastor Ayo that left Dunamis. Was the first pastor that Dr. Paul raised and posted out. So he left. You know, he said he's not doing anymore. He resigned and left. He started a work in Kogi State. And it was during Christmas. As an ICT person and producer, he called me. He said, "Abraham, can you come and set up my ICT for me?" I said, "Okay." And it was holiday. It was my off time. So I was free. I used public transport. I went to Kogi. And we had Dunamis Church Kogi, Lokoja. So I said, well, let me branch and say hi to them. I branched to greet them. I saw my friend, the assistant pastor. I saw the main pastor. "Oh, why are you in Lokoja?" I said, "I just came to see you guys." And I called the assistant pastor, "Please, I want to see Pastor Ayo. I need to do something for him. Can you direct me to his church?" They directed me. Do you know, as I was doing the work, setting up and guiding them on what to do, equipment they should buy, do you know that they called Dr. Paul Enenche and told him
that you were there?
I was in Lokoja. Dr. Paul Enenche called the admin, Ochoga Emmanuel. Ochoga Emmanuel is in UK, so his name I'm calling. He called Ochoga that, "Where is Abraham?" Ochoga called me and said, "Abraham, where you did?" I said, "I'm in Lokoja. I'm trying to fix some things for Ayo." He said, "Return immediately." I returned. So I told Ayo, I started showing Ayo body language. I couldn't tell him
what was happening.
Because Ayo was your son. Ayo left. And
it is the same work of God.
What the fuck? It's the same work of God. So for me, innocency, I go help him. And of course, I will make some money too, because I set up equipment. You pay me for workmanship. So Ayo was trying to call me. I just ignore his call. Ayo is late now. Now, when that happened, he did that. Do you know? I'm telling you, and he will watch this, because I know his church member will send it to him. Do you know he kept malice with me for more than either 3 months? As a producer.
You mean Dr. Paul Enenche?
I'm not joking.
Malice, because you tried
I went to help Ayo. Let me tell you what happened. When that happened, we'll have HOD meetings in his office, because then we are still at Area 1 upstairs, like the 10th floor. So we got there, and everybody seated. I was seated. We were head of department too. And like, "Abraham, are you sure you are meant to be here?" We were like, "Abraham, who go there?" Because I record the event. So it's not like your guy now. You now tell him, "Are you sure you are supposed to be here?" So how do we record? So like, I stood up, I left. So that happened until one day he called me to his office. And one thing about me, if you don't send me, I don't send you. I'm doing my job, and if you don't send me,
if you say we get problem, tell me say we get problem. We'll go sort them out.
So he called me, and one thing about me is he knows me for boldness. He called me and I said, "Abraham, do you know you're my son?" I said, "Yes." "Do you know I love you?" I said, "Yes." "But you know what you did is wrong." I said, "Oh, sorry." He said something I will never forget in my life. He said, "The enemy of your father is your enemy." That thing sank. So Ayo was meant to be my enemy, because he's assumed enemy.
And what did he do that he was assumed enemy?
Nothing. Because do you know, sir, as I am no more a pastor of Dunamis, it will be a taboo for any of Dunamis pastor to be seen around me. I remember when Philip Abba left. There's a Philip Abba. Philip Abba was like his deputy. They had issue, he left. For if as a pastor I would need to see Philip Abba, I have to hide like a thief.
Go and see him.
Because the guy was so good to everybody. I served under him before I became, I moved to headquarters. But I can't see him publicly. I won't let anybody know that I saw him. Members will even call him. They all have his numbers. I don't know how they do that. So the church thing for me at that point, no, I don't fit in here. So when I left, I started what I call Kingdom Culture Bible Church, still in New Carroll. So I did a vision presentation, and it was on Saturday. Just let people know why I left and all of that. In the evening, this I'm saying I may not have, because voice call, but if he can look me into eye and said I'm lying, let's posterity judge. He called me. I said, Abraham, I heard you are starting to walk in New Carroll. Are you okay? Is something wrong with you? I said, sir, but I've left you. He said, but you didn't tell me that you are setting up a church. And of a truth, I didn't tell him. Because if I tell him I'm going to start a walk, it will be hell. So I told him, well, you
especially in New Carroll, where you built some members for him.
So to him, that's my territory. And so for me, I need to walk within where I know. My house is there. Where will I'm in New Carroll. I don't have money to go rent somewhere else. And so the insult was heavy. I dropped the call. So I started thinking, how will this man that have these big, massive branches is still bothered about petty things? They started using my ex-wife. Oh, my brother. You see, if the day you get involved in church politics, if the day, don't ever get yourself involved. I can call, I am not playing. I can call outside my 5 fingers pastors that have left. I'm not alleging that he's the one, but pastors that have left, that have died. Ayo, I remember Philip Abba, Patrick Ubeku. I remember Chris. I remember. It's because I didn't chronicle them.
All these pastors have died.
This is how the system works. When you leave, they need you to be struggling, to validate that you left a cover.
You've now been cursed. You know, I read a comment on one of your videos.
Beautiful.
Someday, and this comment came from a member of Dunamis.
Okay.
It was he made something. He said something. He said it's a woman actually.
Okay.
She said that you should go and check your life now, and check your life when you
were with
Dunamis.
So what they do is that they have to bring you to that point where you are broke, you are struggling, and they will now tell their pastors. You see. I mean, our pastors may have said that. This one I heard from him. They say this guy left, he's struggling. You see, things are not working for him because he left the cover. And what they do, vulnerable wives. I remember one pastor, the wife came to ask for house rent. And what they do, they will tell you to come and see them after service. After service is when the church have closed, and all of us will be walking, we'll see her, see a woman seated like, so, oh, madam, she'll greet. Oh, why are you here? Oh, I want to see daddy. I want to see daddy. So she will eventually see daddy. And later, you saw how do you see that pastor's wife? She came to beg money. Hey! I'm not joking.
Money for food.
For food. So you now, oh boy, I don't go anywhere. Now here I die. Because the message will be like, if you leave, you will suffer the same thing. And that is why court is an understatement. When it comes to some of these Pentecostal pastors. When I left, my ex-wife became her. I would attend meetings. She would go and sit at the back.
She doesn't want to identify with you.
She said I must return back.
She doesn't want to inherit your curse.
He said that curse. She made my children to have the same mindset that I must return back to Dunamis. One day, my ex-wife said, I now called him. I said, sir, I want to see you. He said, okay. He's doing prayer now. That after the prayer, it was like this January kind of prayer. So we met, and I told him, okay, I want to come back. He said, oh, so okay, that's good. And that everything you said about the church, I need to go and unsay it. That why will I talk right about the church? Am I bigger than Adeboye? You see that mindset that some people have the key, the access code, the password. So they have that mindset. So how can somebody like me be talking about church reform? When the bigger guys are not talking about it. So he said, who are you? You talk about church reform. Who are you? Is there? Do you have evidence? What they call evidence is a car, the big auditorium. When that happened, and I said, okay. Then I said, okay, you see, they won't place me, I won't return as a pastor, but then I started giving me their gadget again. So I would just go sit, help. So anytime they are preaching, I'll be pressing my phone. because my mind has left. Anytime they are preaching, he's preaching, I'll just be chatting, writing online. Still be looking for trouble online. I don't know whether you understand me. I'm still invalidating what he's saying online. So one day, I told him, okay, I'm doing your job for you. I moved to Lugbe. I was in Lugbe Federal, I was in a new site. I said, okay, I don't have anything now. My children have changed school. Can you, the money you pay me in bulk, so that I can fix a school for my children, and I can get a car for myself, so that I used to do Uber, because the car I had was not verified by Uber. And they said they can't buy a car for me, but they gave me, I think, 200,000. So I had to get a car on hire purchase, and I was paying small, and I was doing their job. Until one day, I told my ex-wife, I am tired. I know they do again.
Hi.
I know if it means divorce, no problem. And it led to divorce. My mother told me when she heard that, she came, elderly woman, she cried. She said, please, can you go and beg
Paul Enenche.
Dr. Paul Enenche, or the Becky and the wife, because the wife is my sister. We come from the same place. So can you go and beg her? She should understand that maybe whatever differences can be settled. So I told my mother, no, I know these people. She said, no, I'm your mother, go. So I came. They say, come on Sunday. So after serving, everybody will just see me sit down like the normal thing I told you. I just sat down and I went to her office. She called Oguche. Oguche is Dr. Paul Enenche's stepbrother, and he's his CSO, like his bodyguard. So he said she can't talk with me alone. The guy should be there. And I said, she said, I heard you had issue with police. I said, ma, how do I have issue with police without somebody petitioning police? Police cannot just see me and arrest me. So I said, you people petition the police. She said, and I said, whatever it is, can we settle this amicably? There's no need. Whatever you wrote, there's no substantial evidence at all. Can we settle out of police or out of court? He said, no. Let my fate be determined by the judge. My brother, that day, I look at her. So, wow.
That was what the wife said.
I'm not joking. Let your fate be determined by the judge. And you know, somehow, the same within a year, our father is my uncle. With great respect to him, he's late. He had an issue with EFCC. They paraded our own father for 20 million hillocks. 20 million.
You mean the father of the wife of
Becky Enenche?